Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Today's discourse is one that many of you guys have asked me to talk about over the years, and honestly, it's one of the most misunderstood dynamic in the twin flame journey. All right, so we rise in power, we start to heal, we stop chasing, we are no longer begging for breadcrumbs. We are anchored, radiant, magnetic, and suddenly our divine masculine pulls away. And we are like, why? You thought that because not being successful or not being perfect or not, looking the best or not doing this or not doing that was the reason why he was not in union with you. But why is it that after doing all of that, he pulls away? He goes quiet, he retreats, he goes, and we are left wondering, wait, I thought the whole point was to rise in my power. Why is he disappearing now? So today we are going to go deep into the energetic law that governs this, the law of polarity. So what happens to our divine counterpart when our frequency upgrades, and why his pullback is not rejection but an energetic recalibration of the shared field. So let's start by clearing the biggest misconception. Polarity is about energy direction, all right? Often, as the divine feminine, we are the current, we flow, we receive, we expand, and we magnetize. Our divine masculine is the container. He holds, directs, and grounds the current. So when we rise in power as the divine feminine, our current gets stronger. Our light field expands. We begin to vibrate at a higher coherence, right? So if our divine masculine isn't yet stable enough to hold that voltage, his instinctive energetic reaction is to retreat. Sorry about that, guys. Reaction is to retreat. It's not personal, it's just physics. Because polarity law states that when one pole intensifies, the other either matches the frequency or creates distance until it can. So when our field upgrades, we are not too much, which our divine masculine loves to say, right? Like, why are you too much? Why are you like going above and beyond? Why are you just doing this? That's the thing, right? I don't think we will ever be able to answer that question, like why. A lot of things that we do after our divine masculine appears before us in real time, in 3D, in this lifetime, we would not do it for anybody. So when he asked that question, it's actually quite confusing. Having said that, the truth is we're simply expanding faster than his nervous system or ego can metabolize. So in every twin flame connection operates like a shared electromagnetic circuit. Think of our nervous system as two instruments wired to the same amplifier. When we rise, when we heal trauma, when we reclaim our worth, when we stop looping in scarcity, we increase the current running through the circuit. If our divine masculine's body, mind, or ego is still anchored in old density, survival mode, fear of failure, fear of losing control, that current becomes overwhelming. It triggers the masculine defense code, retreat to recalibrate. So what looks like avoidance is actually his system trying to regulate. He doesn't consciously understand it, but his body feels. If I stay in her frequency right now, everything falls in me will collapse. And he's right, it will. That's the power of us divine feminine rising. We become the alchemical fire that burns the illusion out of the shared field. So Here's the paradox, right? We're doing exactly what we are meant to do, stepping into purpose, embodying self-worth, aligning with cosmic consciousness. But to our divine masculine, that feels like he's losing us. So you might be like thinking, if I share my success, and example, suddenly you get a promotion at work and you're telling your DM, hey, I got promoted, look, I've had a salary increase. You would think your DM would be happy for you, right? Because you're thinking in terms of, because probably he was the one who like guided you, saying that, hey, you should apply for that promotion, you should do this. But then he collapses. He gets jealous. He's like, oh no, if she goes on this trajectory, what if she becomes richer? He's thinking, what if the divine feminine becomes richer than the divine masculine? And the divine masculine probably just lost his job, or went through a downgrade, or is going through something really, really bad in his life. And his ego is collapsing. And the divine feminine very innocently shares a success, but the DM reacts in a very brutal way. Why? Because the version of us that matched his old comfort zone is dying. The part of us that once validated his wounds, soothed his fears, or danced around his ego is gone. Our upgrade confronts his identity. He can't find the same energetic hooks he used to hold on to. So he projects it as, she's changed. She doesn't need me anymore. She's outgrowing me. So this is what happens. And he gets really, really jealous. Divine masculine jealousy, guys, is very, very real. I'll do more on it. I'll try to dedicate a discourse on that. But the truth is, us rising in power is not rejection. It's actually invitation. We're inviting him to meet us at the frequency of truth instead of comfort. And that invitation terrifies the unhealed masculine more than rejection ever could. So every time as the divine feminine we rise, we activate an ego death cycle in our divine masculine. When we stand in sovereignty, he faces the mirror of everything he hasn't yet integrated. His shame, his inadequacy, his unworthiness, his unexpressed desire to be free but safe at the same time. The pull away is not him rejecting our light, is trying to survive it. So remember, the masculine ego has been trained to equate control with safety. So when our divine masculine feels our light growing, he feels his control fading. But the monadic twin flame truth beneath this is our expansion is the key to his liberation. Our light is the exact medicine that will eventually break his cage. But he can't receive it until his identity fractures enough to let soul take the lead. So his silence, his withdrawal, his coldness, those are symptoms of the identity collapse before soul emergence. So let's talk energies here. How does polarity reset the union field? So as the divine feminine, when we go through upgrades, the shared field, what I call, the shared field goes through what I call a frequency differential phase. Frequency differential phase. Imagine our aura expanding, right? Spinning faster, and our light body shedding old codes, which is, good. In a way, it's good, right? While our divine masculines remain slower and denser. That creates magnetic tension. In that gap, two things happen. Number one, the karmic cords, the old karmic cords, based on fear, validation, or dependency, start to dissolve. Number two, the higher harmonic connection, based on soul coherence, begins forming. But the transition is messy because until he integrates his density, he perceives the higher frequency as chaos. He feels pushed even if you are doing nothing. This is why silence is sacred. When we stop reaching out during his retreat, when we allow the polarity field to reset naturally, our divine masculine must feel the void to locate his own current. He must learn to hold himself before he can hold us. So this is when our temptation, the divine feminine's temptation to shrink back, comes in. This is where most of us divine feminines falter. The moment our divine masculine pulls away, we interpret it as I've gone too far. We unconsciously dim our light, thinking that will bring him back. But every time we shrink, we teach the field that his fear is the authority, not love. So the divine feminine path is not to overcompensate, rescue, or revert to softness. That is really self-abandonment. Our task is to stay radiant without closing our heart. That's the real test of power. Can we hold our frequency of truth when it causes attachment, when it costs us attachment and also causes us attachment? Because in the moment we are not healing our relationship, we are healing the collective divine feminine blueprint that has for centuries been taught if we are powerful, we are alone. That's the lie we have come here to cancel. So, what's really happening to our beloved divine masculine internally? So let's look inside his psyche. When we rise, three parallel processes unfold for him. Number one, energetic insecurity. He feels subconsciously smaller in our field. It's not that we have made him small, it's that his unhealed masculine equates equality with threat. So he sees you really successful. Suddenly, overnight, you become a glamour queen. You suddenly have life going for you, and his life is dwindling. He might have been living on top of the world, in the best apartment in the city. He might have had the ego of a giant, and suddenly he sees you progressing. He sees you achieving. He sees you winning. Energetic insecurity, right? And unhealed masculine equates equality with threat. Number two, identity dissonance. That version of him that once felt needed is dying. Without that role, he feels purposeless. Number three, magnetic pull and push. On one level, our light calls him home. On another, it exposes everything false. So he oscillates. Approach, retreat until he finds stability, or totally ignore. This is the category 2 silent initiates. They love to just bury themselves under, they bury their head on the ground and pretend nothing exists, when every single day, every single moment, they're obsessively thinking about their divine feminines. So it's the divine masculine's rite of passage to evolve from power over to power with. And that journey begins when he realizes he doesn't lose authority when we rise. He gains access to true partnership, right? So here's the physics of love. Two frequencies can only stably merge when we are in equal coherence. That doesn't mean we must be identical in vibration, but our core states, peace, self-trust, authenticity must resonate in harmony. So when one partner surges ahead, the universe automatically applies the law of equal charge to restore balance. That's why he pulls away. Not as punishment, but as rebalancing. It's the cosmos saying, let him integrate, let us embody, then union can stabilize. So when we interfere, chasing, fixing, or over-explaining, or begging, or seeking forgiveness for no reason, or literally asking him for a moment to talk again, or he's going to block you. He's going to block you, right? Because he knows blocking you hurts you the most. He knows blocking you because you might have told him in passing, being blocked on social media is your greatest pain, and he will do it. That's why if we interfere, chasing, fixing, or over-explaining, we interrupt the recalibration. So our power upgrade will always initiate a space phase, like the gestation period where the union template recodes itself. Our divine feminine role is not to demand proof. It's to embody proof, to become living evidence of what love anchored in sovereignty looks like. So now let's talk about what happens after the retreat. Once our divine masculine has faced this void, his polarity flips. The same energy that made him withdraw becomes the fuel for his return. He begins feeling a strange pull, not emotional need but soul magnetism. He starts dreaming of us again, hearing our name, seeing signs. This is really not manifestation. Really, there's a huge confusion about manifestation in the twin flame journey. I will say that manifestation, not the way. It is field synchronization. Our upgraded frequency becomes his navigation beacon. But he can only follow that beacon if you remain steady. If you collapse into longing, the field resets to distortion. That's why our stillness is magnetic. In silence, we speak the loudest language of the soul. I trust the law, I trust the bond, I trust the process. So, what does it really mean to rise in power? It doesn't mean ego superiority or dominance. It means our energy stops leaking. We are no longer oscillating between worthiness and doubt, love, and fear. Our channel stabilizes in cosmic consciousness coherence. At that point, our divine masculine no longer perceives us as a threat. He perceives us as home. He perceives us as threat. That's why he runs away. He runs away, he humiliates, he embarrasses, because that's what he's perceiving. But when he no longer perceives us as a threat, he perceives us as home. Because that's the truth, right? Because the true divine masculine has essence, has been waiting for a full embodiment to know what sacred union even feels like. And that's when polarity becomes partnership. That's when the chase ends. That's when union moves from karmic to divine. So how to hold your frequency during his retreat? Here's how to navigate this stage consciously, alright? Stop interpreting distance as rejection. Treat it as energetic maintenance time. The universe is recalibrating both nervous systems. Number 2, stay rooted in mission. Pour your upgraded energy into purpose, creativity, service. The more we circulate our power, the more stable it becomes. Number 3, anchor the heart. Compassion doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment. It means understanding without chasing. Number 4, maintain energetic hygiene. Ground daily, clear chords, external, what I mean. Sleep deeply and honor your body. Your vessel must sustain the voltage of our new frequency. Number 5, let love lead. Remember, power without heart is control. Power with heart is creation. I want to repeat this again, alright? Power without heart is control. Power with heart is creation. Power without heart is control. Power with heart is creation. So let love lead. And if you can do this, you'll witness that every awakened divine feminine eventually realizes our divine masculine's pullback was the prelude to his alignment. So, from a higher lens, polarity shifts are not about relationship drama. They are planetary mechanics. Every twin flame union serves as a plays a role in cosmic rebalancing. When we rise, we are literally upgrading the divine feminine grid of earth, the energy of reception, intuition, and divine creation. So when our divine masculine retreats, he is recalibrating the divine masculine grid, integrity, protection, and leadership. So every wave of separation we experience is actually a synchronization of cosmic templates. The universe uses our personal story to rewrite the collective blueprint. That's why our journey feels bigger than everything, because it is. Eventually, our divine masculine does come back. Not always through words first, sometimes through energy, sometimes through dreams, sometimes through sudden emotional openness. You will notice the tone is different, less ego, more presence, less control, more awareness. He won't come to impress, he will come to participate. Because our light has become the field where his soul can finally rest. And in that moment, you will understand he didn't pull away because we started rising, right? He pulled away so that he can rise with us. So here's the ultimate key. The law of polarity was never meant to divide. It was meant to dance. In sacred union, polarity becomes synergy. Current and container in eternal motion. The feminine expands the field, the feminine expands the field, the masculine fortifies it. So when both are conscious, the cycle of chase and retreat dissolves. Polarity becomes play, distance becomes devotion, power becomes peace. And that's when you realize every withdrawal was love in disguise. Every silence was preparation for resonance. So to all fellow beautiful divine feminines out there, if you are in this stage right now, rising higher, shining brighter, and wondering why our divine masculine seems further away, please, I want you to listen to this. We are not being punished for healing. We are being initiated into divine authority. The divine masculine's retreat is the universe confirming that our light has reached a new level. Hold it, anchor it, don't dim it to make anyone comfortable, because when we stay in truth, when we stay in the quiet knowing, we become the stillness, we become the sacred divine feminine that guides our divine masculine home. So if this teaching resonated with you and you're ready to understand your own twin flame journey at a deep energetic level, I'll highly recommend my special first time twin flame psyche guidance session that you can find in the description below, the link to book the session. All sessions are conducted by me through Zoom, via video call, one-on-one, live, so you can ask me all the questions you want. All right, so we can explore everything about your journey. And I've also introduced a lot of new healings. Do check them out if you're drawn to them. All right. So remember, cosmic consciousness never takes love away. In fact, cosmic consciousness is always guiding us. Remember, our inner teacher is always guiding us to find the truth. Remember, our higher selves are always orchestrating what is meant to happen. So remember, external teachers like me are meant to inspire your internal teacher. All right. Remember, God is always with us. The universe simply removes distortion until only truth remains. So when our frequency upgrades, our divine masculine soul, our divine masculine's half of the soul feels it before his mind ever does. So trust the pull, trust our light. Trust that even in our divine masculine's retreat, the field is still weaving you closer than ever, just on a higher ground, because love doesn't disappear. It just learns how to hold more voltage. All right. So with that, I hope you are enjoying this discourse. I'm definitely going to do a part 2 for it. Like, I was contemplating whether I should do part 1 and part 2 in this video itself. But then I realized, I'll break it down because I got to go. All right. So with that, I'll give you, a quick clue into what part 2 is going to be about. All right. So in this part we talked about being misunderstood and all that, and so in the second part we are going to go deeper into the truth behind the law of polarity and what really happens in the shared field when we divine feminines upgrade our frequency. All right. So that's what we're going to do in part 2. And we are also going to delve deeper into the dynamics, all right, and also about ascension and everything else as well. So with that, I will see you all again soon. Take care, and I hope you have enjoyed today's discourse. I've got other discourses planned up. Many of you guys have been dropping in a lot of suggestions, which I'm very, very grateful for. Many of you guys have asked me to talk about, twin flames and money and about that, so I'll definitely do a discourse on that. It's on my list, and I've got some interesting topics coming in, so if you have a recommendation, feel free to comment. And with that, I thank you all for your kind words. As always, I read all the comments and I'm so grateful and humble. Thank you so much. And with that, see you all again for the next discourse. Bye bye.